Warriors Unite! Back with another episode of Bigger Warriors 2 in the 1% Club. Let me get my pad of paper here. How you guys doing? Hope you guys doing well. Hope you guys are conquesting yourselves. Hope you guys are continuing to follow God's purposes in your life to be able to conquest yourselves, therefore conquesting things around you. And hoping you guys are continuing to be that high masculine male and female that you want to be, that we need to be in this society with all of the crazy stuff going on. All right, thank you guys for your likes. Thank you guys for your comments. Thank you guys for the topics. We have a lot of good topics coming along and also a lot of good shout outs that we'll get to in a second here. All right, so, and I am planning to do another one of the live streams probably sometime in September. We have some family stuff going on up until like maybe the beginning of October, so I may not get to it, but we'll try to get to either September or October. All right, some shout outs here before we get to our topic. Let's see what I got. Zion, thank you, my friend. Chadboy, thank you. NoFap, 7 years. Congratulations, my friend. Keep it up. Keep it up. DevinKeptGoing, thank you. DevinKeptGoing. Andrew, McNeils, thank you, my friend. FRENCYIIFRENCYIII, thank you. Ikika, thank you. I think I said that wrong, but I apologize for that. Edesli, thank you. Giodude, thank you. On the Booster, 210 days. Congratulations. Keep it going, Booster. JoJoAces, thank you. Surak, 40, looks like 43. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Obviously, you know, and I think Don Trump said this too. Look back what you did with the other videos. And I tend not to look in the past, but yeah, you're probably right. I'm hoping that I have gotten better. Hopefully the streak has kind of helped me as I go along. So hopefully that's happened. So thank you guys. Najeempaimon, thank you. Jon the Dawn, thank you. Motivation of the Mind, thank you. Voice 2, Skull, thank you. Bob Matthews, as usual. TKO, thank you. Kunalsaiyen, thank you. JoJoAces again, thank you. Fisha Philosophy, thank you. Maltzmonly, thank you. Manly, thank you. Lykkos, thank you, my friend. Style and Speed. I got to write these a little better here. Not finished yet, thank you. Buddhika Chamina, thank you. James Bennett, thank you. And Giodude again, thank you. So thank you guys very much for your well wishes, good comments, and shout outs to you guys. All right, so at the 2 minute 30-second mark, let's talk about the topic here. And this one go back to Don Trump. Don Trump said, we have to stay on our purpose. And so this reminded me a little bit of what we really need to do to be able to fight off these temptations. Now, obviously, having a close relationship with God and your Creator is important in trying to stave off, temptation from people. This is crucial. But the biggest strategy you can use is kind of looking at trying to have some impact on your mind. Now, we only use about 10% of our brains, which is part of the problem in our society because many of us can get easily manipulated and brainwashed into thinking all kinds of stuff because we don't really think about things. We react more. And so if we think about things more and we actually make some effort to think about it and not just kind of react to a stimuli that's out there, there was a great psychologist back in the old days, B.F. Skinner, who really talked about reinforcement and punishment and responding to stimuli, which is that reaction you have to something you see. And most people react that way. I did a study on that long time ago. Most people don't really think about what they're doing. They're just in a habit of reacting a certain way, so they continue doing it. If it's good, it's great. If it's bad, it's not. You put your hand over a stove, and it's got fire, you won't do that again. But that's a habit. You're not really thinking about it. Right? You just did it and you didn't think about the consequences. So thinking takes a little bit more effort. And so because of that, we have to actually kind of use our thinking ability to stop what we're doing in its tracks. So mind control really is your best strategy. Controlling your mind is your best strategy when it comes to semen retention. Now, why do we talk about that way? Well, let's kind of examine and take a step back again. So all of us are human beings. What separates us from the species of the animals and other things is that we can actually think and use our minds and brains. The bees, the animals, all the other cats, dogs, all of them don't have the type of human brain we have. And so they're not going to stop. They're going to react to things, right? Now, they may react and say, okay, this wasn't a good thing, so they won't do it next time. but they're still not thinking. Now, instead of us using our brains, we're basically kind of reacting the same way a lot of the animals do. That's why when you see some people, they act no different than the animals do, you know, because they're very barbarian in their attitudes. They don't care. They don't think about the consequences. They don't think about what they're doing. And they just behave in a way where they're actually going ahead and doing whatever they want to do. And this is why you talk about a lot of the deviant behaviors we have. They're not really thinking about this. They don't really care. They're just doing it. They're being led in some kind of spirit form by something, and they're not thinking about this. Obviously, the mind and the body are closely aligned. Now, this wasn't always the case. You know, years ago, research had no idea that the mind and body could be connected like this. But whatever you start thinking about, your body can react to it and do something about it. So therefore, if you apply that principle to, you know, celibacy, brahmacharya, sophism, semen retention, you know that the best strategy you can have then is to basically say, okay, I know there's times that I released. Let's go back to think about those times. What was happening during those times? And if you analyze going back to those times, you could say to yourself, okay, I was watching a movie and I saw a picture, right? I actually was late at night and I was tired and I decided to go ahead and, you know, and release and think about those type of thoughts. Or I'm basically then going ahead in a situation where I put myself into I went to a party, I went to a bar, and now I'm seeing a lot of, you know, women and men who are attractive, and I'm getting those feelings again. So there's two real solutions in my mind to try to control your mind and what's happening here. First, avoid those situations where there could be temptation. What do I mean by that? Well, you know, you can't stop the evil one from throwing people into your life, walking down the street, or, you know, at a workplace or something like that. But you have a much better chance to fight that temptation if you're doing it during the day, during work, walking around, grocery store, running errands, things like that, because you're much more able then to say, okay, I have it out here. We're doing activities during the day. This is not a socializing thing, things like that. We can move on. Now, if you're looking for that one individual, right, and you're in that mode or that year, you know, you're in those age groups, then you have to almost play a balance a little bit, because you're going to go to these places, but you're going to have to be prepared then to realize you're going to have some temptation. Once again, you have to have a strong plan to find that one person who you want to be with. Once again, not sleeping with them is a key element. Not sleeping with the person makes a big difference, because you get to know the person as a real person. And this is what the difference becomes. And we'll talk about how you can really enjoy talking with women because you're not looking at them as objects. You're not lustful. If you're not lustful, women are great kind of conversations. You can have great conversations with women and men. But it's because we look at them in a certain way that we tend to get tempted, and now the whole situation is changed. It's not a regular, normal conversation. And that's why what you have to do is kind of start controlling your thinking and controlling the fact of saying, okay, I'm not going to put myself in those positions. As we talked about in one other video, the night is your worst enemy. You want to make sure that you go to bed early. Get up early if you have to. But most people, that's their nightlife. And a nightlife is always signifying where the problems occur, especially if you're talking about temptation. Now, again, guys, we're dealing with a lot of people in the society who don't believe anything I'm talking about. It's okay to have multiple partners and all kinds of stuff. So you're going to deal with a lot of people who don't believe anything, and they can't understand why, you know, you're not doing anything. This is why the MGTOW movement is shocking a lot of women. I see it all the time. I talk with women in classes and different things, and I see, you know, different types of things on media. Women are shocked that men are not kissing them on the first date or hugging them and everything, and men react saying, I'm not going to get myself in trouble here. And so there's a reaction to a lot of that. And so as a result of that, that actually gives them a chance to think and get to know this person. And so they're not allured by the attractiveness of the woman or the man if you're a woman, and you're not basically sitting there and kind of reacting to more of their, the intimacy potential than you are the regular person. Now you get a chance to actually talk with the person, find out a person, and see if the person has the same values, ideas, and that becomes the friendship. And so this is why back in the old days, we had marriages were rearranged or arranged, and parents got involved because they knew their sons and daughters. And so there was some idea there that you want to develop friendships. Now, the problem with a lot of younger people, and I was in that case as well, is that the intimacy overrides and the lust becomes so strong that people want to sleep together right away, or they want to get together right away. And so you destroy a lot of that communication buildup to find out who the person really is, because you've kind of had that experience already, and so you're not interested in that. And so this causes the problem in the mind, because now you're just looking for intercourse, you're looking to sleep with the person, you're not interested in trying to get to know the person. So that's why you have to avoid those situations. And if you're going to go ahead and try to date and find people, which is, nothing wrong with that, but the idea is find places and do things where it's not something that you can actually go ahead and focus on, tempting types of things. So you have to kind of go ahead and avoid those situations, because you're going to get yourself in some trouble, especially if you drink a little bit, which obviously, I'm not recommending, but you put all those factors together and your inhibitions go down, and now you're more likely to go ahead and run into that rabbit hole, and now you're releasing and you're falling into a trap, and you're getting lured by that beauty and that illusion. It's all an illusion, guys, really, when you come down to it. Because even the releasing is a few seconds of satisfaction, but a whole bunch of regret and being upset. Because you're releasing part of you. In the long run, intimacy really with a person is not what you're doing by sleeping with them, but the relationship you have with the person as a person. Now, it took me many, many years and many years of marriage to kind of realize that. So I'm not any kind of expert, but I'm just kind of telling you at this point in my life at 63, I can tell you that obviously the sex itself is not meaning the same thing as it did back when I was in my 20s. And so the point being is that you have to go ahead and use your mind to realize what you're really doing with this person, okay? This is why the Bible talks about you should only be doing this if you're procreating, because you're really spending a time with this person. Now, that's the first aspect. The first aspect is to go ahead and control your mind to the point where you can actually say, okay, I'm going to avoid these situations. Now, that takes willpower. And I always go back to that famous thing that I saw, my famous actor, when I liked Bela Lugosi back in the 1931 version, this is almost 100 years, Dracula, when I was a kid watching this. And Van Helsing, sits there and Dracula's trying to use his, hypnotism and magic to come and bring the person to him so he could kind of bite his neck, right? But he doesn't do it. And Van Helsing says, your will is strong, Van Helsing. Your will is strong. And so, when you think about this, it's the same thing. Now, this might be portrayed in a movie and have some fakeness in it, but the idea is still very true, all right? You could sit there and you could say, okay, there's a beautiful woman in front of me, or a beautiful man if you're a woman, and you could say, all right, I'm tempted. This man is tempting me. Now, they may never say they're tempting you, but they are tempting you, all right? The way they're walking, the way they're acting around you, they may even actually outright do it and let you know they're doing it. You have to be like this Van Helsing. You have to say, my will is strong. Now, to do that, you have to be at your full strength. Obviously, if you're retaining and you're doing this, you're not going to have issues with that. The other half of this is that you're going to be able to be strong because you're not drinking and other things, drugs adding to it. And I've noticed a lot of people who are on retention, things like that, they're learning to control their behaviors. They're learning to control their behaviors with other things as well. So not that more likely to do that. So having a strong will to avoid those situations is the most important thing. Now, if you're in those situations, the second thing to do when you're controlling your mind is being able to get yourself as busy as you can to get yourself out of those situations. And we have a few people talking about the fact that, okay, I'm in this cycle, I can't help it. I mean, what can I do to get out of this cycle? All right, now let's say, for example, you're in the cycle, like I was for 47 years, and it took me a long time to find some strategies that actually worked, but each one of us is different. But the main thing you gotta do is get your mind off it. Analyze what situations you did this with and prevent those. So if you're watching movies late at night, go to bed earlier, right? Obviously avoid those situations where you could actually go ahead and find people and be late at night and those kind of things too. But also get away from things like the computer and the phones or things that can be attractive to those things. It takes willpower again, and especially if you're in that situation, because the more you're in it, the devil's not going to let you out of there. You're going to have to fight to get back out. But you got to repair, you got to replace those bad habits that you learned. It takes about 20 some days to learn a good habit or a bad habit. Replace those bad habits with good habits. And with the good habits, now you're saying good things, you're doing good things to be able to control those things, to be able to say, okay, this is my new habit. I'm now changing, I'm using my energy, transmuting it, and doing some great things. Getting work done, working out, losing weight, reading books, establishing, making more money. All those things are happening because you're now using the energy that was going to be used to watch movies or sleep with people, and now focusing on bettering yourself. The whole world changes, your mind changes, and then therefore your body will react to your mind. Because your body is connected to your body, your mind, you're not going to go anywhere without your mind. The mind has to be seduced first. And you know this if you're a seducer or being seduced. You know that the mind has to come first. You have to have thoughts of cheating. You have to have thoughts of, sleeping with somebody before you actually do it. That's the key. So the key is you want to go ahead and say, okay, why is it that I'm attracted to this person? What do I really want from this person? And so as you do this, you're thinking to yourself, okay, now how can I stop this? How can I stop this attitude, especially because I don't want to do this? You know you shouldn't be doing it. But your emotion, the instinct at the time continues to say, go and do it and not stop. And that's where you run into problems because you're not fighting it enough, your willpower is not strong enough, and you're giving in to the temptation. So this whole idea of focusing on your mind is very important because what you have to do, and this is why we talk about prayer, meditation, reading the Bible, going to church, all those things you need to do, all those things get you focused more on the real power you have, and that's in your Creator, in your God. That's focusing more on those things and thereby getting rid of the temptations. It's almost like a vacuum. This happens whenever an army wins a battle and takes over a town, there's a vacuum there. What values, what ideas will that town get? What will replace the old ones? Same thing happens with you. If you don't do something with the values in your system and the time and your brain, you're going to fill it with things. Your choice is going to be filling things with good things or bad things, right? Looking in the old days, people used to have all these Playboy magazines, right? Well, that's a precursor to a lot of the stuff we see online now. Looking at pictures of women starts creating a mind image, all those type of things. All of a sudden now, it creates the need to have movies and things like that. All that stuff creates a new vacuum in your mind saying this is all okay. And not realizing the danger in all of this is your mind then becomes accustomed thinking this is okay. And now you're trying to get more satisfaction and more of endorphins, and you're trying to get more of a high doing things. And so who knows what leads to a lot of deviant behaviors. Therefore, you've got to keep it in check. Like I said, you can always, the birds will fly over your head. You make the decision to let them in. You let the women in. You let them come to you. Sometimes it's a matter of you're lonely. Sometimes it's a matter that you need somebody. You want companionship. I get it. I understand it. But just remember, all of that comes with a price. And the price is, unless you sit down and really spend some time with that person, understand the person, develop a friendship, you may get tempted. And now you're running into a lot of problems, and you're going back to the old system that you had. And now it's the next time it's hard to break it. That's why it took me 47 years to actually break it, because it took a long time to realize what I had to do. And I had to go full commitment to do it. You can't be doing this half, half of anything. You got to be doing it full speed. All right, my friends. Well, thank you guys so much. Don Trump, thank you guys. Thank you for your comment. I appreciate that. I hope you guys have a great Friday evening. I'm probably going to see if I can watch some college football if it's on. And I hope you guys continue to retain, continue guys to keep celibate as much as possible. Use that energy. And if you're married and you're having, with your wife or your husband, continue, doing those things to keep intimate. Obviously, you love your wife and husband. That's wonderful. But don't always forget that the key is that you do not want to be throwing your energy away, because your energy is something that's going to make you grow, become stronger, become a more powerful person. I don't care if you're my age of 63 or you're 23, you're going to become stronger and stronger. The prosperity, your God is going to be with you. All those things come about. And the key to all that, before I finish here, the key to all that is really that you're starting to throw away all the physical things in the world. All these things don't matter anymore, right? Back when I was in my 20s, all those things matter. Money, cars, houses, people, women, all kinds of stuff, right? Like that. But when you get to a certain level, and this is the way it should be. Now, this doesn't always happen. But as your faith grows and you become closer to God, you start giving up all those material things. This is when I think the Bible talks about that the rich man, and in a sense, we're all rich in certain ways. It's hard for them to get into heaven because they're unwilling to give up all those possessions. You're not taking anything with you. All you're doing is taking yourself, your soul, your spirit, even your body leaving here. But you're going to talk to your Creator afterwards. And what are you going to say? I know I've not been perfect, and I ask for forgiveness every day. But the thing is that we have to keep trying to become the best person we can become. And one of the first things you can do is not lose your energy. Then you can start building. And if you have to ask for forgiveness for other things, that will come. But at least your Creator knows that you're working towards Him instead of away from Him, which is what we see in all these societies that have been destroyed in past history. Sodom and Gomorrah, Babylon, Roman Empire, all these things. They all left God because they felt like they didn't need God, because they thought they were gods. And they thought they became gods because they could do anything they want with no repercussions, until it all came down. And now they couldn't do anything about it, right? This is the key, that you have to be smart enough to realize that your behavior consequences. If you sleep with a person and you really actually think that there is no repercussions, then I think you have to rethink yourself a little bit. Whether it's the DNA, whether it's just the losing your soul each time you do it, losing the trust, looking at people as objects, you're losing a lot. Not only your energy, but everything else you're losing. Unless you're doing the appropriate with that one special person which you've developed that relationship with, it makes no sense. And this is where you have to control your mind not to put yourself in a situation. Don't be like other people in society thinking this is the best thing to do is sleeping with people all week long. It is, in my opinion, the worst thing you can do. But the 1% knows that. We know they're trying to avoid that. But the battle is hard, the battle is tough, and the forces are all against us right now. So keep battling out, my friends, and we'll talk more about this in the next time. All right, so anyway, let me let you guys go. Thanks again, Don, for the great comment and idea. And I know this is a little long one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Till tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow I'll do one, or it might be Sunday. Hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. And like I said, enjoy the football games, enjoy Labor Day weekend. I'll probably talk to you before that, but enjoy Labor Day. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. And I leave you with two things always. First thing, every day is a new day to a great warrior. I think I said that right this time. And the second thing, guys, remember to always battle on! God bless you guys. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.